Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mampolo from Mampolo's Corner. Renee your mindset. Guys, Atiku no gree leave Tinubu alone. No, he no agree. Atiku don't finally defeat Tinubu for US court. I say, eh? So for USA, Atiku was able to defeat Tinubu. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, no one person can defeat Tinubu. Are you normal? Who are you? Power pass power. When I read the news this morning, I can't say, man, court pass court. Judges pass judges. Some people study pass some people. Well, I know too much. For US, even for our time, no. We don't even believe in what the judiciary they say anymore. We need to carry the judgment, go to another man's land in America, so that if they get the true justice. Atiku, thank you very much. God bless you. I not be a fan, but God bless you. For those who never hear the news, all right, now let's read together. Atiku defeats Tinubu in U.S. court. Well, I know too much. As judge orders Chicago University to release Bola Tinubu's record to Atiku Abubakar within 2 days. Certify authenticity under oath. Now, let me read from phone here. Why I put that on the screen, it's a bit small there. Let me read from phone here. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has landed a major victory in the United States as part of his ongoing push to demonstrate Bola Tinubu's ineligibility to be Nigeria's president. People Gazette report. A federal court in Chicago ruled on Tuesday night that Chicago State University, CSC, must turn over all records relating to Mr. Tinubu to Mr. Abubakar within 2 days, saying the former vice president has been able to sufficiently justify the purpose of seeking the records. Well, I know too much. According to the ruling seen by People's Gazette, Judge Jeffrey Gilbert also ordered a deposition of designated CSU officials within 2 days after the record have been released. Noting further that the process can be conducted during the weekend if necessary. Let's leave it here. They say struck out. Everything struck out. That one struck out. Every case against Tinubu was struck out. Everything struck out. But the USA, just only one will carry go there. The Abubakar win. Abubakar winner. Oh, injustice. Injustice in the midst of justice. Well, I know too much for this country. For those that thought that this case is over, no, Abubakar is still fighting this case. So they are still fighting this case. And let me just remind you people and update you. Today, P2B have filed a case to Supreme Court. Today, their case now is in Supreme Court. They don't file them officially. That means they must still go to the Supreme Court. I don't know if Atiku have already completed his filing into Supreme Court again. Now, Atiku is not only fighting Tinubu only from Nigeria. He's fighting Tinubu both in Nigeria and in America to combine it. It is called a simultaneous fight. A simultaneous court fight. They say no, they can never give up. That this year's election will mark the last rigging in Nigeria and impunity. Rigging with impunity and nothing will happen. They say it can never happen again. They will fight it to the end. And there are some people who are in abroad who are fighting hard to make sure you see this case, they must get to the end. They must go to the end. They say they will never give up. They will never give up. Number one person that is fighting this, that say Tinubu will not go out of this is David. Whether not David Hindo or David Hindo or that is no, he had me to pronounce. David said no. I can never give up. David still dey dig. He dig every past of Tinubu. David, what did Tinubu do you, Zukwanike? For those who never see David, they provoke again now, right now. Watch video.
Who is Nigeria's president now isn't only a drug criminal, but potentially someone who potentially has committed identity theft.
Jesus.
Right? This issue is in court now in Chicago and in Nigeria. And I just think it's amazing that for more than 30 years, he's somehow been able to sort of get away with all of this without being asked these questions. I think this is the first time his feet are actually being put to the fire. It's a pity that under Nigerian law, he was actually able to be sworn into office before these legal challenges could actually be completed. But I guess someone has to do the job. So here we are.
I was going to ask you, David, on that note where you ended, the fact that I think that it was just earlier this year, a Nigerian court ruled, I think it was an appeals court, ruled that, or rejected basically petitions filed by opposition challenging the legitimacy of his presidency or his victory, including questioning his qualifications. So why, if what you are saying is the case, if, you know, these from decades ago, these things in fact happened as you're describing them, and I know that you've looked up and have the documents for them, why then did a Nigerian appeals court move forward and reject the petitions opposing it and move forward with the election, as you said?
So an unfortunate thing about the justice system in Nigeria is, first of all, it's not independent. The judiciary is actually not independent of the executive. The executive controls the money of the judiciary. The second thing is there's a very bad habit of delivering this thing called justice by technicality. So in the case of his educational qualifications and his failure to declare an additional nationality, which was also another perjury on the electoral declaration, what the court basically said was, oh, well, the way this evidence was submitted didn't meet this process or that process. Therefore, we're not admitting it. We're striking it out. So basically, that decision wasn't made on the merits of the case. It was made off the back of a technicality. And even more farcically, in my opinion, the judgment that was made regarding the fact that he had, forfeited money for heroin trafficking. He had involvement in heroin trafficking. What the court said basically was it was his bank accounts that were sued by the U.S. government, I guess, using the framework of a U.S. civil asset forfeiture technically is true. But obviously, you and I know that's a legal technicality because obviously a bank account is not a standalone entity. There's an individual behind it. So what the Nigerian appeal court said was the bank accounts in the name of Bola Tinubu committed the crimes and not the man, Bola Tinubu. So basically, the president's bank accounts are guilty of drug trafficking, but not the man, not the president. The president. I personally think that's a ridiculous judgment, but here we are.
David, we have only a couple more minutes, but I wanted to ask you about the documents the FBI here in the States, of course, now says that they're going to release on President Tinubu and your role
FBI
in helping that to happen.
Yes. So shortly before the election, I'd actually tried to get hold of the documents in Tinubu's FBI file because I know for a fact anyone who has ever been the subject of a U.S. federal investigation does in fact have an FBI file. Okay. And in response to the FOIA, the FBI said because of privacy considerations, we're not going to give you this information. He's a private citizen. So after the election, which he purportedly won, he's no longer a private citizen. He's now a public official. So we sent, in conjunction with a gentleman called Aaron Greenspan, who runs a website called plainsight.org. You might be aware of it. He's based in San Francisco. We sent off another set of FOIAs, this time to the FBI, the CIA, the State Department, the DEA, the IRS, and U.S. attorneys. And they initially stonewalled. So we went to court, right? So myself and Aaron, in conjunction with a lawyer whom we were able to get to work pro bono. So in the initial submission from the respondents was that potentially this was going to drag on to like 2026. And then a couple of weeks ago, pretty much out of nowhere, I didn't see it coming. It was, I think, Friday, September 8th, I think it was, that I got a message from Aaron, and there had been a new filing in court. And basically all 6 U.S. government agencies, that's the FBI, the CIA, the DEA, IRS, the State Department, and the U.S. attorneys basically said, we're going to give you everything you're asking for. And even went into further detail. The FBI said they've identified 2,500 pages of relevant information on Bola Tinubu, which they're going to release at the rate of 500 pages a month, starting from October.
Jesus.
To put that in perspective, Malcolm X had about 2,400 pages in his FBI file. So what on earth does the FBI have on someone who is apparently Nigeria's sitting president now that makes it up to 2,500 pages of material? I think everyone would love to know. So I'm pretty much waiting with like bated breath. I think everyone in Nigeria is at this point to see what on earth it is that the law enforcement agency in America has on our sitting president. So I guess we're about to find out.
Jesus, FBI.
Put myself on mute. This may then be the beginning of much more to come. Maybe we'll talk to you later. We have to end because the show is ending here in just seconds. But I wanted to thank you for coming on. Of course, if we had a representative from the president's office, he would say that he was fairly elected, that he did graduate, and those things that we know that those of his supporters would say. But as you mentioned, and we can see this. The FBI has said this. They are going to release all these documents, and so we will be watching, and perhaps we'll have you on later. Thank you so much, David, for your time.
David.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
David, leave Tinubu alone. David, how many times I call you? David, leave Tinubu alone. You dey find trouble. This guy not they give up. 2,500 pages when FBI hold about Tinubu. Now wow, our president. So you can't go. David can't go meet FBI. Say no, release them for us. Now that he's a public figure, he's now our president. Release those 2,500 pages. Let's see what is happening there. What do they find? What do they find for this man's head? This will not be another fresh trouble now they bring for him. If you don't succeed in Nigeria, now, una no want make this man go through, make it. Una carry and go America. Our lovely president, una carry and go America. Go they scandalize and go they finish that. This is not fair. This is not fair. This man has been fighting serious battle since how many months now? David, let the poor brave. Guys, if you love what you're doing here, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, even on TikTok. All of my political love, guys. Peace out.